Hello there, welcome to another great video game ideas not used podcast, GVGINU for short. As always, I'm Andre, and it is a pleasure to share my thoughts with you. Thank you for listening in. You pretty much know what this is already because you saw the title, and that is more games that would be good for the Wii U. I've also decided I'm going to throw in a couple that would be good for the 3DS as well as games that will be cross-platform compatible between the two. So the first game that's up for discussion, short discussion, because this one is pretty much self-explanatory. Telltale Games, The Walking Dead episodic series. Pretty much enough said, right? Touchpad, touch screen, faster scrolling with your hand than with the analogs, but still allow for the analogs to be used back and forth. It's really just a port. You'd have to, of course, put some time in to develop the controls for the touchscreen. But hey, and you also would be able to do off TV play with this would be amazing, honestly, because your cursor would be just so much faster. And in that sense, depending on how you wanted to play the game, some scenes could be a bit more urgent. Like, say, if you wanted to play it with the touchscreen controls, then events that happen where you have to take a little bit of time to react to should happen a little bit faster because of the fact that touchscreen movement for a cursor is much faster than that of an analog stick or a directional pad. It's pretty much equivalent to a mouse. There's like a very low ratio of of latency. So take it as what you will. But I didn't want to stay on that game too long because, like I said, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Next game would be good for the 3DS and the Wii U as an eShop title for both, and that is Order and Chaos Online. And from what I've seen, is very similar to the Elder Scrolls series, but it's actually a really good developed game, and the group responsible for publishing it is Gameloft. So Nintendo, get in contact with Gameloft. Talk to these people. See what you can do to get Order and Chaos Online ported to the Wii U and the 3DS. Now, obviously, it's probably going to play a little bit different on both devices. Like I said, obviously, it's going to play different on both devices. For Wii U, your main screen, which is your television, would pretty much just have your character, your health bar, maybe like your magic meter, mana meter, whichever one it is, and whatever like counts your currency for the game. And then for the gamepad, you would have your inventory for you to be able to quickly select and change items and weapons. And you would also have your mini map so that you can look down at your screen while you're fiddling with your inventory. You can see your map and tell where you gotta head off to go. Quite obviously, we're going to have the compass on your main screen that's pointing you in the direction of your next objective. Sounds good, right? And actually, a very similar setup can be done for the 3DS, meaning the main screen, the top screen, you see your character. Actually, it could pretty much work out to be the exact same thing. I wouldn't even have to re-explain that. And just have cross-platform compatibility between the two, port the game over. You got a solid game right there that would fit very well with the Wii U and 3DS. Now, these other games I'm going to note are probably lesser knowns, much lesser knowns, but I came across them on the Xbox Live Indie Games section, and that is the first game is the series is Bureau, which is Bureau Agent Kendall and Bureau Shattered Slipper. I think it's Shattered Slipper. I don't remember right off the top of my head, but have both of these games. They are made by Twisted Games, and they are both, one, visually stunning for indie games, and two, they make you think. They get in your head, but they're like point and click games with a few like action segments in them. So they will work really well for the Wii U gamepad. Really well for it. And I don't see why it couldn't be done. I mean, but that would be up to Nintendo to get in contact with Twisted, or Twisted get in contact with Nintendo to see what kind of thing they could work out. And those games would be good for the Wii U. If you haven't seen them, look them up. Seriously, these games, I've gone back to play them both several times just because of how much I enjoyed the actual game, how they utilize critical thinking, and your actions dictate certain outcomes. But one thing I will warn, these games aren't directed to children. There is partial nudity in them. And there's also another game by the same person, same development studio, called Colonies. I think it's Neociv. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Neociv. I think it's Neociv. But that game is also supposed to have a sequel. I haven't yet to see what's happening with that, but that game would be do really well for the Wii. It's pretty much made in the same play style as the Bureau series, but it's sort of futuristic and there's quite a bit more happening story-wise. Actually, any of the games made by Twisted Games would pretty much fit well with the Wii U gamepad. And that is something I could definitely tell you would work out real well. There's another game, it's called Gateways, which I also found on Xbox Live Indie Game section. It's sort of like Portal, but in 2D. And I mean, it's not really something that would have to utilize the gamepad, but if it did, all of your available inventory and items could fit right on the gamepad screen to clear up, screen space so you can see everything a little bit better on your main television screen. Simple. And the game would be amazing because it already is amazing. It's fun. It's amazingly fun, and that's something I enjoy about games that make me excited to play them. Like I said before, Portal would even be a good game for the Wii U, but I said that in my last one, and that's why I brought up Gateways, because it's like a 2D version of Portal. It's actually interesting, so if you don't know about that game, look it up. Xbox Live Indie Games, Gateways. Pretty much the name Gateways, Portal, they're interchangeable. Another game that I know would work real well, Bleed, which is on Xbox Live Indie Games, and I also think it's on Steam, and I think it's on Goog too. It might also be on Gamersgate. I'm not exactly sure, but the control scheme for that game is odd, but once you get used to it, it's fun. And with the Wii U gamepad, instead of being limited to using 2 weapons at a time, you could literally just tap your screen and swap your weapons out, and it can make the gameplay much more fast, much more fluid for changing out weapons. Rather than having to pause and change the 2 weapons that you have available to you, you could literally just tap the screen and keep on going and playing. Come on, Nintendo, I'm giving you gold here. Go for it. Yes, I know I named the majority indie games, but come on, man. These are good games. It's not like I'm just throwing out ideas from like horrible games. Most of these games I have played with the exception of one. Literally, with the exception of one game, I've played the rest of them. Oh, man, my throat's itchy. Sorry, people. But that's what I'm saying here. If I didn't play these games and I didn't like these games and find something enjoyable about them, I wouldn't even suggest them. And I know Order in Chaos, if I played it, I would love that game because it's similar to Elder Scrolls, but to me it looks a little bit more interesting. Maybe not as deep as Elder Scrolls is, but it does look interesting. So, with that, I will part and leave you guys those thoughts. I'll leave the list of games that I've already talked about in the description below so that you can. I'll leave links. That way you can look the stuff up. Man, I wish I could get rid of this cough. But thank you very much for listening in. And keep your eyes and ears out for more of my stuff. So until next time, enjoy your games.